Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today I've got a very special guest. I'm really excited for this one because it's been a little while since we've spoken on my channel. But Egal, thank you so much for coming on my channel today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well, Sophie. It's always nice seeing you brighten up people's days on Twitter with all your positive posts. So all I could do is come on here and hopefully be half as bright as you are.
Oh, thank you. I'm just really happy to have you on because I know, like I said, I can't remember last time we spoke, but it's just really nice to have you on. And I thought I could just start off as well by asking you a bit about the Euros before we go on to chat about Arsenal because for me, I'm enjoying the Euros. I think it's nice to see other teams, like Turkey, progress and do well, other teams you might not expect. But obviously, as an England fan, it hasn't been too great. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on the tournament. Has there been any teams or any players that you've been surprised by?
I think Spain, Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, those two have looked exciting and very attacking. It was nice to see Kai Havertz in Germany play
Yeah.
quite well also. Musiala is one of the players of the tournament. Um, But I just need to say one thing. England have not played well, but you guys are winning.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
just like I understand that you want to look at better performances, you want to see better football, but it's not that serious. It's not that serious. Like it's international games, you just need to win. It doesn't matter how you win. A lot of teams
Yeah.
have played terrible and won the tournament, so I don't think you need to worry.
Yeah, I've said with the game the other day as well, I've said, you know what, winning is what matters. And if we win the tournament by not playing great, I wouldn't be bothered. I just want to win the tournament. But I think with our performances, I think we got lucky in a way. I mean, Jude Bellingham's goal was not lucky at all. It was an amazing goal, and Kane obviously did really well to score. But I think we've not really been impressed with the performances. But I think winning is so important. Even if we win ugly, that's what we've got to do. But I think the Switzerland game for me is the one that I think we will struggle in. But I think, at the moment in time, we've been able to get through all these games we've had. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on England, because I know me, like, obviously I'm Arsenal over England, but I do like watching England, and I'm just really hoping that we can do it. My honest opinion on Southgate is that I like him, but I just feel like he isn't the right man, especially with the football we're playing. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on England, Southgate. Like, what do you think about how we are in the tournament?
I'm just looking at England and I'm saying to myself, Southgate has amazing tools, but he doesn't know how to use it. That's what I would
Yeah,
say. The players are really good and they need to be able to get you guys out of situations. As for the tactics, he's clearly listening to Uncle Righty when he's playing Saka left back and he's doing all these decisions that are really gonna annoy people. But overall, if you guys win your game against Switzerland, you're in another semi-final. If
yeah,
you then win against either Turkey or Netherlands, you're in another final potentially. So I honestly don't think it's all doom and gloom for England. As
yeah,
for how the players have been playing, not everyone's played well, but that's international football for you. There's people who play well for their clubs because they have the whole year to show what they're
mm,
capable of. You only have 7 or 8 games.
yeah. I completely agree. I think, like you said before, but we've not been playing great, but if we're able to get the wins, I think that's what's so important right now. I spoke to someone earlier today, and they were saying that Southgate's probably better with, he struggles a bit more with teams that have the talented players rather than another team that might not have the best squad. And I think that's a good point to make because I think with Southgate, I think the team we have right now, a lot of us will notice that he should be doing better performances wise. But I do think to be able to get these wins in tough moments is really important. And I think the Switzerland game, I think if we can win that, then that is going to give us so much confidence throughout the tournament. Like you said, Netherlands, if we got them, Turkey, and getting to that final will be massive. So I think for me, I'm hopeful we can get to the final and win it. But I'd love for you to tell me who do you think is going to be in the final. I mean, for me, Germany as well. I'm really confident they'll get to that final. But who do you think will be in the final?
I think it's going to be Germany and England. I think England and Germany get to the final. And I don't think England win it. I think Germany wins it.
Yeah, I think. Do you know? I just don't know how to feel right now. I mean, Spain as well, another team that have done really good. But it's so hard to be confident about England with how we've been performing about winning it. But I still think the fact we've been gotten to a final in the past, I know how difficult it was for the likes of Saka, Rashford, Sancho. So I feel like I know two of them aren't really with us right now, but Saka. Hopefully that will give him a bit of motivation to win it this time if we do get to that final. But yeah, it's quite weird really watching Declan Rice Saka at England compared to Arsenal because it's very different. They do play a lot better for Arsenal, but like you said before, some players perform better, for Arsenal or play better for their country. It's so different. I mean, we've seen that with a lot of players as well. Like Bellingham for me has scored in important moments throughout this tournament, but I think his performances have been a little bit questionable. But I think for me, if we got to that final and win it, I'd be delighted. Like I've said, I don't care how we really win it. I think as long as we win it, that's what matters. So I'm enjoying it so far, but I think it's going to be interesting who gets that final. But I definitely see Germany do it. I think Havertz, like you said before, I think I've really enjoyed watching him. I know he has missed the odd chance, but I think he's doing good. But what have you made of some of the Arsenal players that are in the tournament? I know as well, Xhaka's not really an Arsenal player, but
Zinchenko
I'm
played
enjoying.
well. KVR was his team was just poor and he was let down on every occasion. He was probably one of their better players. As
Yeah.
for Saliba, he's been unstoppable for France, one of the best players in the France national team. And every opponent that they have, he just puts out every fire. As for Saka, hit or miss. He had some good moments early in games, but never really got anything going in some of the other games and has been subsequently rotated with Cole Palmer. Um, Declan Rice has been good, but people just want Declan Rice to be
Mm,
Xavi or Iniesta. They don't respect
yeah.
what he did, and they add, and then when they start saying stuff like he doesn't pass the ball forward, he's not progressive. It's just ridiculous because the guy single handedly can move the ball up the
Mm.
pitch like no other. The way that he drives with the ball at his feet, and Trossard has had a poor tournament. Raya hasn't really played besides one game. And that's pretty much it, really. Is there anybody else that I've missed? Uh,
I don't think so. No, I
Ramsdale
think
never
that.
played. Oh, Jorginho. What happened to Jorginho? Did he get injured? He never played in the
Do you know?
final
I've
game.
not really. I know I was going to say that I've not really seen much of him really. I think yeah, he must unless he's just on the bench. I've not seen a lot of him. But I agree with
Moral
Saliba as
support.
well. Yeah, Saliba's done really well. I've been so impressed with him. It just feels so surreal that he's an Arsenal player when you watch him for his country as well. But yeah, I'm happy so far as well, and I think it's good that a lot of these players haven't picked up any injuries. I mean, especially Saka, Rice. I don't know really what's happening with Jorginho. I've not really seen a lot of him. I don't know if he's just benched, but yeah, it's nice to see the players. I know Give yours had some minutes as well. But like with Zinchenko, I think if he was in a better team, it would be a bit different. But yeah, it's nice to see them do well. Hopefully, one of the teams with the Arsenal players will do well. But I wanted to ask you a bit about Arsenal now because I know there's a few rumours and I wanted just to ask you a few things. And I wanted to start off with Smith Rowe because I think he's going to leave this summer. I know Fulham, I'm pretty sure, want to put in a bid. I've seen today. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's the right thing? Would you rather get the money for him than keep him?
It's getting to a point where we are moving at such a fast pace that individuals are not going to keep up. That's just the honest truth. People are not going to be able to keep up with the pace that Arsenal's moving at. And when I say that, I'm saying we are progressing and constantly evolving to a point where Zinchenko surpluses requirements. I even feel like Jesus, you could say, could surplus requirements. Trossard right now is playing amazing, and people are questioning uh, so many positions.
Mm,
But the main person who's gonna struggle to get back into this team is Emil Smith Rowe. There's
yeah.
no position for him on the left wing. there's really no space for him in the midfield because his performances there have not been that good. And overall, the club look at him as a pure profit asset, where anything we make off him, we get three times based on profit and sustainability. So it only makes sense that we do make some sales. And if we're going to make some sales, I would expect Emil Smith Rowe to be as close as possible to an Arsenal record sale, as a record club sale is 35 million. And
Mm.
I would hope that he could get us close to that.
Yeah, I think if we are going to sell him, we have to get a good amount of money for him. Like you said, I think around 30 million, 35 million. I think is what we need to do. And I think for him himself, he needs to start playing for, his career. He's on the bench a lot of the time. He has picked up a lot of injuries himself, but I think for his future, I think it'd be the right thing. I think if we did let him go, it would be sad as well because I know at one point he wanted to be a legend here. That was a little while ago, but I think these injuries do happen, unfortunately, in football. But I'll be sad to see him go. But I do agree with you. I think it's the right thing, and it's hard to fit him in the team right now with the players we have in that midfield. But I really like him. I think it'll be hard really because I know our last game of the season we got to see a little bit of him, and I think he brings something a bit different. But I do think if we are going to sell him, we should do it now. But I'll be really sad to let him go. And I know another player that went on loan to Luton was Lakonga, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go to Sevilla. I wouldn't ever see him really started in the team. I mean, if Smith Rowe's not going to get in, I don't think he's going to get in. But do you feel like his future's done at Arsenal and he's just going to, go abroad for the future?
Okay. Uh, Lakonga, we need to cash in as much as we can,
Yeah.
but nobody wants to pay for him. That's the problem we have. The clubs that would be interested in him, they probably want him for like 7 million or something like that. And the clubs that are willing to pay for him, they want him on loan before they pay for him. So we keep finding ourselves in a situation where players keep wanting to go on loan, but we want to sell them. They want to go on loan, but we want to sell them. We're just going to continue to have a situation where they keep going on loan and we never end up getting sales. So, do we take a loss on an individual and sell him for a lot cheaper, maybe 10, maybe 15 mil if we can? Or do you send him out on loan again in order to try to increase his value so you can then sell him for more money? That's the
Mm.
situation we find ourselves in. I love all these players, but they they're just not wanted across Europe. Who's knocking at our door for Nuno Tavares? Who's knocking at our door to be saying my number one target is Lokonga? It's not really happening. We have to try our best to make these players look more attractive to other teams by maybe lowering the valuation or at least sending them out on loan and having a successful loan so we can then sell them.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well because when I was looking up about the Congo going to Sevilla, it would be a loan as well, and it's not like they're wanting to buy him. And it's hard. I watched him at Luton a little bit. I mean, I know he picked up a few injuries, but I saw glimpses of what he could be, but I think it didn't happen enough. And I mean, potentially if he goes on loan to Sevilla, you might see a bit more of that. But I think you make a good point that teams aren't really wanting to buy him just yet. And I think for us, he's not really if you bring him on as a sub, I don't think he would really change the game. And I think that's the problem we have right now. And I think for his future, I think it would be better to sell him. I don't think he's probably ready to be in the Arsenal team. I think maybe if he wanted to, he could be in the Premier League still. I just don't think Arsenal really would be the right team. I don't think he can play. It's a bit like Vieira as well. Vieira I do actually think has a future at Arsenal, but I don't think he would probably start a lot of these games. I think we've got a lot of players that wouldn't always start.
It comes down to supply and demand. We have a surplus of players, but who's actually demanding to buy these guys? I think if it's down to either keeping Emil Smith Rowe or selling him and sell or selling Fabio Vieira, who's coming to buy Fabio Vieira right now? Nobody. Emil Smith Rowe, at least he had 2021 season where he went nuts and he scored a
Yeah.
bunch of goals and he really played well. Where people can be like, you know what? He's 23, he can still get back to that. Where Fabio Vieira just never really proved it in the Premier League yet.
Yeah.
And the only teams that he could go to is Portugal, and they don't have that kind of money to buy him back.
Yeah, I think as well, like you said with Smith Rowe, he had an incredible season that time. I felt so excited for his future, and you look at it now, I never thought it would, end this way. But I think because you've seen what he can be like, that's probably why Fulham probably want to get him. And I think he would do really well at Fulham, to be honest. I think that would be a good move. I just hope we would get the right amount of money for him. And I think as well with Vieira, I think we've seen, I know last season before he got injured at the start, I think he was actually good. But then I just think he dropped off a little bit and it just didn't go too good. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from him when we bought him, to be honest. I mean, I don't really watch other leagues really. But like, I always like to give players a chance when they come, and I didn't like to judge straight away. Um, but yeah, I think I just wanted to see a bit more of him, if that's how he would reflect,
He didn't
so
really get an
far.
opportunity, did he?
Mm, yeah, that's
And then
true.
he got injured in and out of the side. And then at the end of the season, when you're just trying to win games to win a league title, you can't really give people opportunities
Yeah, you
because
can't really risk it in that chance, because if it goes wrong, then
if it goes
it'll
wrong, it
affect.
goes wrong.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think it's hard to give players these opportunities, especially when you're in a title race and when you're competing with Man City. You can't really, drop these type of points. And yeah, I think Vieira, I don't think we're going to get rid of him. I think Arteta likes him. I think he'll still be here. So if he is, I think next season I would like to see a bit more of him. But I reckon he'd definitely be more of a bench player. I don't really think he would start many games. But I think we do have a lot of players like as well. Tavares, like you said, I don't really know if who's going to buy him, if anyone does. I mean, will he go on loan again? Probably. I don't. He seems like a great guy, but just he didn't fit well at Arsenal. It just was a bit of a disaster. It was quite strange because it worked for a while. He got Tierney out of the team for a while. He was good, but I think defensively is where he struggled. So I think it's going to be interesting to see which players do leave this summer. And I did want to ask you a bit about Raya, because I'm pretty sure he has, he's a permanent Arsenal player now. I know we bought him off loan. It was not really a surprise. A lot of us knew this, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on him. It's his first season at Arsenal. For me, I think it took a lot of us a while if we preferred Ramsdale or if we preferred Raya. And a lot of us, including myself, built this connection with Ramsdale because he was just so good to us as fans. But I think now looking at it, I think Raya is a really good goalkeeper. I do feel like the odd time he can make a bit of a mistake from the back when he's playing out, but I look at him and I think he has improved his Arsenal team. But I just want to get your thoughts on him so far.
Okay. Simply put, people need to stop looking at Ramsdale Raya stuff. We're now in
Mm,
2024, 2025 is going to be coming up very soon. Ramsdale's time is done. Raya's our keeper. And you know what? He did well. He did well.
yeah.
He saved us in a penalty shootout. He did well for majority of the season. 27 million is not a ridiculous amount of money. As long as we can get a decent backup keeper for not too much money, I'm happy. The only problem and mistake we made was we should have sold Ramsdale last summer. If we
Mm,
sold Ramsdale last summer, we wouldn't be in a situation where we have two keepers and we're struggling to sell one of them, because that's the situation we're in right now. We
mm,
literally have nobody who wants to buy Ramsdale, and in my opinion, he's one of the better goalkeepers in the league.
yeah. Yeah. And as well, this summer, for me, if I was Ramsdale, I wouldn't want to be second choice either. And I think he's going to go. Who are we going to replace him with as well? That's another thing. I mean, the second choice goalkeeper, I'm not too worried about unless Raya gets a bad injury. But I think with Ramsdale, I think like you said, probably would have been wise to do that. But I don't know. I've not really heard any rumours. I think so far Ramsdale it will still be here, but I think Ramsdale's a really good goalkeeper. I know he was linked to Newcastle for a little while, and I could see that happening. I spoke to a lot of Newcastle fans, and they just weren't interested in it, and I was a
They
bit
just need to look
surprised.
at they just need to look around the Premier League and look at all the ex-Arsenal goalkeepers. Matt
Yeah,
Turner, Martinez. Fabianski, Leno. They're all good keepers. Why not
Yeah.
come get Ramsdale? We don't sell the people garbage.
I know that acting like Ramsdale's really bad, but I think he did amazing in in the a few seasons back when we were challenging for the league. He did make the odd mistake, but I think for me, from where he was to where he's come to at Arsenal, it's a big step in his career. And of course, he's going to make mistakes. It's like we saw with Raya. Raya made quite a few mistakes last season, and I think he's bound to. It's a big step up in his career, and he's playing in the Champions League, and it's players are going to make mistakes if
Nerves
they're
kick
not.
in, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw with Raya. I don't remember a lot of games, but I think the Luton game, the Chelsea game, he did make a few mistakes. But I think as the season went on, Raya grew in a lot of confidence. So I do have a lot of faith in him. What I would say about Raya is he's definitely an improvement on Ramsdale, but I don't know if at this moment in time I'm sure I'm confident that he would be our keeper for the future. I mean, I know he's going to be, but I think there's still parts of me that I do worry about him in his game. But I think at this moment in time, I think he's doing amazing. And yeah, I think a lot of us already knew about this. We all knew he was gonna be permanent, and Arteta has wanted him from the start. But I think it'd be interesting to see what we do with Ramsdale. I mean, I know for his England career as well, I'd love to see Ramsdale get that chance. I know Pickford's probably a bit better than him at this moment in time. When Ramsdale played a few weeks ago, I think he's okay. I just think he was a bit nervous as well. But I think
I
Ramsdale
was
will
at
be
the
looking.
Brentford game. He did not breed confidence.
Hmm.
Ramsdale
Y-
definitely lost his confidence when he was playing against Brentford. But
Yeah,
he made that mistake and then he never made a mistake afterwards. So it's 50-50. But if I was going to say one thing about Ramsdale, how much is he worth to us? Because surely we can get more than 35, which we paid for him, right?
yeah. It is hard because we know the potential he has from that season that he played in, but I think because he's not played for a while, I don't think he has as much confidence as he used to. So that's the only reason why I don't know if we'd get a lot of money for him. But I do think I'd love to see him play for another Premier League team, but I don't think it would be Newcastle's the only team that I could imagine right now. I mean, he might play abroad, I don't know, but I think if we are going to get money from him, we have to get quite a bit I don't know how much money. Like, I hope we get more than 20 million for Ramsdale. But I think 30. You've got to take that. And I wanted to actually ask you a bit about a player that I would take, but I think a lot of fans wouldn't. I want to ask you about Sancho because I've seen a lot of people online, and some would take him in a heartbeat, some wouldn't, and it hadn't worked at United. And I think for us, I think we're in a better place than United are. It's taken us a while to get to where we are now, but I feel like he would work for us. I mean, I'm not saying he would start all the time, but if we need someone to change the game, I'd personally have him. How do you feel about him? Would you want to see him at Arsenal, or do you not think it would be a good move? I think you're on mute, by the way. I don't
If
worry.
you believe everything you read, we were offered Sancho. And if you believe everything you read, Sancho was offered to Arsenal and they rejected it because of his wages, which is
Yeah,
200K plus a week, 250K a week, actually. So we would be giving him the third highest wages in the club for a player who would be deemed as a squad rotation, not necessarily a starter. The fee would probably be around 40 million, which was reported, which is quite decent, but his wages are a problem. And I don't think
yeah.
Arsenal would match the wages that he's currently on at Manchester United. That means he would get paid more than Saka, the same as Odegaard, and more than everybody else in the team, bar Kai Havertz.
Yeah, that's the problem as well, the wages. I mean, I know when we were linked to Rashford as well, I'm sure he would be on a lot as well. That's the problem as well, because that's the problem we used to have a lot, and now we've cut the wages down a bit compared to what Ozil used to be
That's why
on.
Eze makes so much sense because Eze transfer fee
I'd
would
love
be
him.
60, but his wages would be like 150, 100 max. He's currently on like 60. Then you look at Nico Williams. He wants like 200, something like that himself. So squad rotation might not make sense for him. I think what Arsenal are looking to do this transfer window, improve in the areas where we're weak. Forget
Yeah.
about everybody just says striker, winger, striker, winger, striker, winger. Mikel Arteta is looking at the left back position saying none of our left backs are good enough.
Mm.
Timber is injured. We never seen him play left back. Tomiyasu's always injured. Zinchenko's injured or not good enough. And then Kavior is not a left back. So that's why we're looking at left
Yeah.
back. Midfield, we need another midfielder. But before we go and sign a bunch of players, I think the club is going to try to sell maybe one or two pieces, maybe get a little bit of money in. And then striker, winger, I've just come to the realization that we're not going to sign a striker. There's nobody out there that makes sense financially, plus is good enough. Unless Isaac becomes available for 80 million pounds, I don't see Arsenal going crazy to sign a striker. We might sign a winger. We might sign Eze or Nico Williams or somebody like that.
Mm.
But is that going to be the difference between us winning the league or not? I think it's actually going to be the opposite. I think the thing that helps us win the league is what we already have.
Mm.
What we're bringing in is just going to help us get. It's just going to help us fix what we have and make it a little bit more solid. I don't think signing a left back is going to be the difference between winning the league or not. I just think signing a left back is maybe going to save you one or two goals more, and
Yeah.
that will help you win the league. It's just
Yeah.
to add to what we already have. I think people mix up signings with this signing is going to win you the league. No, it's Saka's going to improve, Saliba's going to improve, Gabriel
Mm.
Magalhaes going to improve, Ray is going to improve, and then you bring in this player, and then the whole team improves. Plus, this player improves you also. So it's like
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
waffle.
I agree. No, I agree with all of that. I think with players with those type of wages, I think if they ever were going to come, that would have to be cut out. And I mean, Eze would be a really good signing. I don't think it would happen. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I'm not. I feel like he would probably go to Chelsea or something. But I do like him.
Chelsea don't want Eze. They wanted Elise.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've seen a lot of different rumors, to be honest. But I would take Eze.
Tottenham don't want to pay the 60 million.
I'd take Eze. Like I would. I think he would really improve us. And I think what you're saying as well. Like
Versatility key.
there are, yeah, there are a few positions. I mean, for me, I think having a striker, I do think it's important. But like you look at the market now, I look at Ivan Toney. Would we get him? I don't think Arsenal want him. I'm not sure Arteta
What
wants
do you
him.
think of Sesko the other day?
I don't. Do you know what?
He was terrible.
I yeah, I'm not really convinced, to be honest. It's hard because I know when players come to Arsenal, they're different and you might be better, but I'm not really convinced right now. What about you?
You don't have to worry about that. He's staying in Leverkusen. He signed a new deal. But but the whole striker situation is funny because people say we need a striker, we need a striker. We need a backup for Saka. We need a backup
Mm.
for Odegaard. We need another midfielder. We need a left back.
Yeah,
Are we
left
gonna
back
get
is.
everything done? What's more important, getting backups for all these players that we already have, or just getting a striker and dropping 100+ million on that?
I think. Do you know what?
Some
I
people
think
would
the
say
left back.
both, but that's not realistic.
Mm, I think the left back one is something that we have to do first because a lot of us will know Sinchenko. I mean, you might disagree, but Sinchenko for me, I
I
just
don't
can't have him
disagree.
starting. I can't have him starting next season. I mean,
Aston
I
Villa
just
at
don't.
home, man, that was criminal what he did.
Yeah, I do find him a liability. I just feel uncomfortable watching him defensively.
Mm.
I mean, I know playing in midfield is not really an option we've done before, but yeah, I think and Timber as well. I know if he came back, he would work hard and try that role, but it might not work. His fitness might not be up to scratch to what we need to be. So, and Tierney is gonna go. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's gone.
I don't see him ever coming back in this team. But I think the left back is the one that we've got to do first. The midfield as well. I mean, Jorginho's obviously going to stay. Partey, I don't know if he'll stay, but I still think we need to bring someone in. Um, and then I think after you've done them positions, you can maybe look at. I think a backup for Saka is important because I think Saka wants to play most games, which rightly so because he's a great player. But I think he's too predictable, and his
Too
performances were
predictable.
yeah.
What do you mean by that? You're saying
Well, like
when he's making decisions on the pitch, you think the defenders are easy
yeah,
to understand what he's doing?
yeah, I think when you watch him, not all the time, but sometimes when you watch him, when I've watched him at Arsenal last season, I feel like I know what you're gonna do, and I think the defenders can read that. But yeah, I think I do think Saka had a good season, and I think people are a bit harsh on him to be fair because I think he did really well, help us in that Champions League as well, but. I think that might be down to the fact he's probably, played a lot of games, but I do think he was a bit predictable at times. But I wouldn't say that always. I think he brings a lot of energy to the team, a lot of goals and assists. But I think if we brought someone else in, that would definitely help us. But the striker one, I would really love us to bring a striker in, but I wouldn't say that is the main goal. I think the left back for me, like we've said, we need to pick the positions that need help with because last season we did actually score a lot of goals. We we thumped Chelsea 5-0. We did that quite a lot. So we do have goals around the team, but I think in the games where we're struggling to score and we need to just, win ugly a bit, we need a striker in. But I don't know which striker we'll bring in. I mean, I've always been more towards Ivan Tony. I liked Isaac, but I think he's staying at Newcastle. I don't care how much you pay for a striker. Really, I just think it would improve us. But I don't know who we're gonna bring in. I think we do
At
need a
this
few
moment in
positions.
time, I've just ruled out the striker position.
Mm,
Unless they surprise me, we'll have to wait and see. At this moment in
yeah,
time, it just doesn't seem like it's gonna happen.
yeah. I mean, I think the only thing that I think will happen soon is the Smith Rowe one, like we've mentioned. Yeah. I don't see it
What about
happening.
Eddie Nketiah? Him too. He's gonna go.
Oh yeah, I think he's got to go really. I don't know how much money would get for him. No, that's the problem.
He
How
should
much?
also be a record fee.
Yeah,
He should be.
I think I do like him. I've always said I always like and respect him, especially that season when Jesus got injured and he had to, take over that great goal against United. He's had some amazing moments, but um, I just I don't know how much we're gonna get from really. I saw that I don't know if it was about Nketiah, but I'm pretty sure the club wanted like 50 million or something like that for him. But I don't see us getting a lot for him. I think it would
Yeah,
be
50
more.
million is crazy.
I've read that and I thought that's got to be a joke,
But if we
surely.
get 50 million, big up to Edu.
Who's gonna pay 50 million? Like
I don't know. We gotta find
that's how much
somebody.
Ben White was.
We gotta find
Yeah,
somebody, right?
yeah. I mean, I think Eddie. I could imagine him in Premier League club a bit lower down, but I think whatever he goes, I do think he'll do well. I just think when he's came on last season, he's not always made the most of the opportunity he got, and yeah, I think Arteta just gave up playing him and just played him, when we had to throw our attacking players on. So he's definitely going, but where do you think he'll
Eddie
go to?
Nketiah has officially been taken out of the side the moment uh, Kai Havertz started playing the nine. There was
Yeah.
no need for him after that. And if
Mm.
Gabriel Jesus always gets injured, he's going to be gone also.
Yeah, Jesus is another one. Um, I don't mind having Jesus as a player to have as not necessarily a squad
The
player, but I
strength in
don't.
depth.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Jesus as a starter unless there was injuries, because I think with his injuries as well, I think he's struggling quite a lot to take his chances. But I
Beef.
still see a good player in him. But I think with Havertz as well, I think I just couldn't imagine him not being in our starting the lineup with how amazing he's been.
You know what the crazy thing is though? Martinelli had a poor season and we still almost won the league.
I know. Yeah, Martinelli. I mean, I think next season, I think he'll be back to himself. I just think I know. I think when you have a few injuries along the way, it's quite hard to get back into things. But I think with how many different goal scorers we had, I think it could get away with it a little bit. But I still rate Martinelli as much. I just think he's not. Yeah, he didn't have. I think the second half wasn't a great, you know, moment for him. But I like Martinelli. I think people shouldn't give up on him yet. I mean, I've seen the fans give up on him. I'm like,
No, they're crazy. Yeah, you can't give up on Martinelli. He's still one of those guys. He's not homegrown, but it feels like it because he's been with us since he was young.
yeah, you can really feel how much he loves the club, the fans. Yeah, he's had an amazing journey at Arsenal, and I'm excited to see his future. And
Me too.
hopefully, we can win the league next season. I'm hoping for some exciting signings. I'm
Hopefully, we
just
start a
excited.
dynasty and we win the league every year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But I just wanted to
I'm
thank you as
seeing
well.
rival fans get upset at all the players we're linked to, but until we sign somebody, I'm just gonna be like, have we
Yeah,
improved?
actually, you know what? I never get excited until it's officially signed. Until we've officially signed
It's
them,
easy for you
because
to say because you don't have to do videos on it. Half my content is talking about transfers, so
yeah, actually, you know what?
sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes I get too attached. Like Sesko, for
it
example,
feels real.
I spent a
Yeah,
whole week just looking at Sesko, and then by the end of the week, he's staying in this club. It's like, what was I doing
it's
that
like a
for?
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
so
and
hard
all
when you.
today, I'm looking at Calafiori. Watch him just go to Juventus or something.
Do you know what I know? It's so tough as well when you're doing the videos because you can actually imagine them being Arsenal, and then they end up not being here. It's so crazy. I just hope we can sign someone
As
soon. I'm
long as he just
excited to.
doesn't end up at Chelsea, because those kind of situations
Yeah,
annoy me.
yeah. I just hope we can bring some players in soon. It'd be nice to do a video about some new signings. So fingers crossed soon we'll see that. But it's been good to chat about the Euros Arsenal. I'm hoping that we can hear some exciting news soon. But thank you so much, Yigal, for coming on my channel. It's been really good chatting with you.
No worries, Sophie. Thank you for having me. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, man, hopefully Arsenal get some signings done and we can enjoy ourselves this summer.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And to those that will be watching this back, I hope you did enjoy the show as well. Please don't forget to leave a like and do subscribe. And I will see you all very soon. Bye, guys.
Peace.